Hello, guys. It's your girl Kiki, and here we are again with another podcast episode. This episode, we're going to be talking about my job and what I do as an occupation. If you follow me on Instagram, at Yo Girl Kiki, you can look and see what I do there. But yeah, we're going to be talking about being an entertainer and also a creator. Going to be bringing up some general audiences, calling some people out who like to just talk shit. So I'm gonna do what I do best as a professional shit talker. I'm gonna talk shit. So let's get into it. I'm laughing for a reason because I can't contain myself and I think that I'm so funny. But anyways, so my occupation, if you don't know, I'm an entertainer, an exotic dancer, stripper. If I can't say that on here, we'll do the bleep. But that is what I do as an occupation, and I'm also a OF creator. I think we could put something right here for that. I do that as well. And those are not my only occupations, but that is kind of what I post more about on social media. Everything else is just like more done in private in my hustles and whatever. But I kind of want to talk about like misconceptions, like what goes on and what you guys don't see, you know, because people think that they know me so much from the internet, you know, they're like, oh, she's a hoe, she does this, da da da, you know, this is all she does, this is all she's ever gonna be, you know. I don't know, people just get like the wrong ideas, and of course people are just gonna talk shit because talk shit, you know, everybody talks shit, everyone, not everybody, but I mean, me, I'll talk shit, but it's just being honest. But you know, some people just like don't know where they're coming from and are just genuinely just bad mouthing. I don't even say it's talking mouth. You're bad mouthing somebody for no reason, you know, putting this type of painting somebody the way that they should not be painted, you know. And that's okay though, because a lot of people don't understand what we go through and what I've gone through and like how I've gone into it. I'm gonna tell y'all how my story is, and my story, this shit is crazy. So I was in a very toxic relationship. Some people know what that relationship was. I was in a very toxic relationship. Got out of that relationship, right? And it took me a lot to get there as a woman, you know, because I was going through so many emotions. I was having to put up with so much shit. I was beating myself down, and I was losing track of myself. I really lost the woman that I could have been earlier. But, you know, I also am a person who believes in the right timing. So when everything happens for a reason, I went through this for a reason. Like, and it was like almost 2 years of just like not straight hell. There's good moments in a relationship and there's bad, but for the majority, the fact that the bad was outweighing the good, it was really affecting me. So a lot had happened, and I basically ended up with nothing. You know, I didn't even have, like, I had to basically fight to get my car back. I had no money. I was being taken care of, and the money that I was being taken care of wasn't very secure. So I was put into a sticky situation because as a woman, I was putting my trust in a man, which I should have been able to do, but it just wasn't in the right hands, you know? And so I'm sitting there, I leave the relationship. Like, I woke up one day and I'm like, you know what, like, I'm done. Like, something in me changed as a woman. Like, timing is everything. And I say that with a lot, like with a heavy heart, like, trust the process, because what I went through to wake up one day and just like be triggered by one thing, and it was over. Like, I was done. Like, I didn't want to do this anymore. You know, I had better for myself, and I was being stopped by someone who was so insecure, you know, but I want to be more secure with myself, but I was being insecure with myself because this person, you know, there was a lot of reflecting. You were feeding off each other's energy. And so I woke up one day and, you know, I was like, get the hell out. Like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to do me. But there's begging, there's crying, there's fighting, there's arguing, you know. I was put in such a bad position, like, it wasn't safe for me at all, mentally or anything. So I left, right? And I'm sitting here crying. My homegirl come and pick me up, and I'm crying to her, like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, I got it was February 18th of 2020. I had 2 weeks basically to pay rent, right? That's whenever I started working the club. But this happened, like, I think the 16th or the 17th was whenever I left that relationship. And I'm sitting there and I'm crying at my homegirl's house, and she's like, look, like, you gotta become, like, being an entertainer, that's the quickest way you're gonna make this money. You know, you can make your rent in one night. And I'm sitting there and, like, not even, I had, like, no doubt in myself. I wasn't like, yeah, that's not possible for me. I'm like, you're right. And so I called my other homegirl that I'd known since I was, you know, a kid, like, not like a kid, but like since I was in middle school, since I moved out here onto the West Coast. I had known her since I was like 14, 15, and she was managing at a club, and I called her and I was like, hey, like, I really need a job. I left blah, 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 you know, and she knew who it was, and she was like, come in on this day, da, da, da. I hung up the phone, and I'm sitting there, and like, so much shit is going through my head, and my homegirl is like, she's like, look, you just made a decision, you know, that's gonna change your life. Like, you got this. She gave me her pole that she uses, and then she got a new one, so she gave her old one. And it had already been in my house, so I'd already been practicing. I'd already been doing it. It was like everything was leading up to it. I left the relationship, you know, that person wasn't secure enough for me to do that, you know, and that's on them. You know, I would have took care of them and myself. You know, in a relationship, you're gonna do that because, you know, I'm 100%, but if you're giving 100%, which is also, you know, taking care of me with your money, I'm gonna do the same, right? So tripping for no reason and just insecure about themselves and about me. So whatever. Moving on past that, I get out of this relationship and I'm sitting there. She's like, you know, you made this decision. You've already had this pole. Like, you got it. You can do this. And so I go there and like I come in there like earliest shift, and it was like right after COVID. They were just opening up. They needed girls, right? So I guess I was like the second hire, I think. The second hire. I was the second hire there. And I walk in. She like greets me at the door, started talking and everything. And I meet the general manager, and that day I got hired. I'm pretty sure I worked that, because I auditioned, and then I auditioned and I worked a little bit, and then they let me work through the night. Like I just started working there that day, and after that, like, I hit the ground and I never stopped running. I did everything that I could to get where I am now, and every day was hard. Like, I was going through it. I had no couch. My bed was on the floor. I had one TV, one shitty ass TV, and I had nothing for myself. You know, I had to end up going to that was before too. So I ended up going to Oregon or Washington to go get my stuff. Right. And so my mom lives there. So I go up to Washington, and I went up, like, we went up the coast, like to Oregon and Washington. So I did like a 18-hour drive or like 16-hour drive all the way back with my stuff. My best friend who was like on the day. So this happened twice, right? This toxic relationship, rewind. This toxic relationship, this is how toxic it was. Happened twice, you know, broke up. I needed to go. I had 2 days to go to get my stuff up in Washington. And I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And I'm like, I don't know. I can't do this on my own. And I was going to. I was like, screw it. I'm just going to do it on my own. It's only like a 12-hour drive, but like I had to go up the coast, and going up the coast is a longer way because my mom, we were having her birthday out in Oregon. And I was like, oh my God, I can't do this. But I was going to because I had no choice. And my best friend that day, she said, I'm going with you. And I was like, what about your job? My best friend quit her job. When I tell you that I have a ride or die best friend, my best friend quit her job to go with me. And we went up there, and her and I did it ourselves. I had no money then, and I still didn't have any money. I came back, fell for some dumb stuff, got back into that toxic, and then that's in February 16th or 17th, that's when I ended it forever, and I was done, and I left. And then I started working at the club, and I hit the ground running so quick, and I was just running up money, and I didn't know how to stop. I didn't want to stop. And I was doing everything clean. I don't have to explain that to anyone. Doing everything clean, period. Always will. I did everything clean. You know, I just danced. And I loved what I was doing. And like slowly they were like trying to put me at a lead. And like slowly I was training other girls to come in. And I'm like, dang, I just started this a couple months ago, you know? I had nothing. I had 2.5 weeks to pay my rent. 2 weeks to pay my rent. And I did that. I figured it out, and I sat there, and every day I wouldn't go out. I wouldn't buy certain stuff. I didn't treat myself until I literally like a couple months ago with working and doing what I do. I didn't start treating myself until a couple months ago. Like, I remember when I bought my first chain with a pendant, and I was like, oh my God, like, I bought this. Like, I did this. No credit, no nothing. Like, straight out. It wasn't like an expensive ass chain, but it was crazy for me because I didn't come from that. I come from nothing, you know? Like, I came from, whenever I moved to the West Coast, I was sleeping on an air mattress in a living room. Like, for almost a year. Like, it was actually pretty crazy. And my life, it's crazy because I realized that life, like, cycles itself, right? So I felt like almost every time, like once a year, I feel like I go through something, and I remember like a year ago when when I was there, but like my mental always changed. Even if my financial situation never changed, even if I have a new hustle, even if, you know, I'm trying to still figure stuff out, it doesn't matter because my mental got better. And no matter what, I leveled up. Where I'm at now was not a year ago. A year ago, I didn't have this couch. A year ago, I didn't have a TV. A year ago, I didn't have any of the stuff that I have in here. And I didn't have any self-confidence. I didn't have any self-love like that. But I portrayed that I did because no matter what, I couldn't let people know like how much I was hurting, you know, how much was going on with me. But in this job affects women every day. So people will go on social media and judge us and talk so much. Do you know how much it took me to walk through that door? And do you know how much hate I knew I was going to get? Do you know how much judgment? Let me tell y'all this. My daddy came in through that door. A month later, it's my 20th birthday. My 20th birthday, the night before, March 11th. My dad comes into that job. My mom and my dad go out to eat because it's my birthday. My mom's in town. My mom and my dad, they love each other. They were best friends. Like before they had me, my dad took care of my half brother, so that's not his kid, but he and I had the same mom, but it's not my dad's kid, you know. And he took care of him, babysat him. They had me, whatever. So they had a bond, right? And so they go out and they eat. And my daddy asked my mom, it was like, you know, where's Kiki? And she's like, oh, she's at work. Y'all, it is 12:30 at night. Why would my mama tell my daddy I'm at work? Why couldn't she just say I was asleep? And I whatever, mom. I took care of that woman and handled so many situations. She slipped up on me. What the hell? So she slipped up on me, right? And so my daddy is a smart man, military man. Gears start going. They going, right? Why this man go to and the club that I work at now was closed at the time, but now I work there. But he went there and he was like, yeah, they didn't open yet because of COVID. And then he went to another club that's like one of the bad clubs in this city. And I was like, why would you go there? What the hell? I was like, Daddy, you know damn well I wouldn't work there. And then he finally gets to my club, right? And so one of the security guards, or I'd say like floor hosts that worked there, was really cool with him. And he's seen him at the front door before he came in. So he pays and everything. And I'm sitting, you know, and I'm injured because I hurt my back before. So I'm injured and I'm a waitress at this club. I'm not even a dancer at this club yet. I'm a waitress. So I was behind bar being a bartender. And I just had my regular shoes on. But y'all, I was like half naked. He could see my tatas. I was so nervous. But I did. Why did I greet him like he was a customer? Like, hi, how are you? Like, who do I think I was? I knew that was my daddy. So he walks up and I just sense him and I'm talking to my homegirl and I'm like seeing out the corner of my eye. I'm like facing like this way. I'm like, yeah, that's so funny. And then I just get quiet and I see this bald-headed man in some plaid shirt, which I know my daddy wears when he goes out to dinner. And I knew he was with my mom and I knew what he was wearing because my mom sent me a picture. So, and my mom was blowing up my phone. My mom was like, duck for cover. You're done. He's going to whoop your ass. He's coming. She's like, I'm sorry, Kiki. I'm so sorry. She's like, I didn't know that this was going to happen. She's like, run for the fucking hills. I'm like, oh God. My dad's going to come in and beat my ass. So anyways, I'm behind the bar. I see him. He walks up to the bar. I go, hi. Like, what? And he's like, what the hell are you doing in here? And my smart Alec, I'm like, I'm working. I'm just working. So you work here now? Yeah, you work here now? Why you work here? And I'm like, you know, I gotta pay the bills, whatever. I'm keeping my composure. And I'm telling you right now, this man is like clenching his fist. He's like, Like he just wanted to give me one just like good hair pull. He wanted to yank me out that club. And you know what? He's my dad, so like I don't blame you. But like, why did you come into the club, Dad? I hope you see this video, Dad. It'll be funny. But so he and we didn't talk for a while after that, like for a couple of weeks, but that's unusual for my dad and I. And so we didn't talk for a couple of weeks. And my mom is all freaking out and my mom is upset that I have this job and she's telling me because, you know, that my mom did this too, like as she was younger. Listen, oh my gosh, y'all don't understand what we go through in this job. Everything that's happened to me is crazy. So he comes in, right? And I walk away. And I instantly go into the back and like, I'm trying to keep my composure, but I'm like, because like he looks so disappointed in me, you know, and this isn't what I wanted for myself. And I wasn't ashamed of myself because of what I had to do. But guys, I got into this industry because I had nowhere to go. Like I had no choice. This industry saved my life. A pole being put into my living room changed my life. And I love this job. I love the women that I get involved with. I love the things that I be around. Because when I walked back into that room and I started freaking out in that locker room, women just came up to me and coddled me and nurtured me and told me, like, it don't matter what he says, you're a great woman. No matter what, you're doing this right. All of this stuff. And I'm sitting there, I'm freaking out and I'm crying and I'm like, he had no right. He had no right to come in here, my privacy. This is what I do. I do this because I have nobody. And I'm expressing myself in ways that I hadn't expressed myself before in front of these women. And they still sat there. And I remember everybody left. And this one dancer, she sat there and she talked to me. She said, I want you to know, it don't matter what nobody says about you. You're doing this for you. You don't have nobody. You at the end of the day, you come in here and you make this money. Nobody else does. You got to do what you got to do. She said, I've been doing this for a long time, And she sat there and gave me a napkin and told me to wipe my tears. And she said, I don't want you to go home because everyone's telling me to go home. She said, go out there and get your money. Don't ever let nobody affect you. And I thank her so much and admire her so much because she's done so much in her life, and I know that without even talking to these women, that. And, we go through, people come in here and think that they can disrespect us and touch us and just think because we're entertainers and like dancers, and of course other women have made it bad. Other women have made it bad. Let me just say that, doing too much in clubs and everything like that. But for anyone to go on social media and talk about us and talk about, every single woman thing and every single woman is the same and that we do this because we just want to hoe or do, whatever or sell our bodies. That's not it. It's also, to some of us, it's an art. We hop on a pole and we do tricks. You get up on that pole and do tricks. Get up on the pole right now. Let me see you. Like that. I want to put people on the spot like that. Like, hey, you should come to the club. Let me see you on the pole. Let me see you pick yourself up. Let me see you have conversations with people that you just met and you're deliberately asking them for money just because of your looks. Like you go ahead and sit down and have that conversation. Let me hear your mouthpiece. How many VIP sections could you fill up? How many dances could you get? What's your stage tips, right? Let me see how you do, And half the time it's people who either don't make money or just don't know what we're doing. And it's fine to work a 9 to 5. Nobody's saying that. I don't think anyone should stop working a 9 to 5. Like if you work a 9 to 5, it's the wage. Stop slaving away for freaking $13, $14 an hour when, like that. You can't even live off of that. People can still barely live off of $20 an hour. Like that is sad. Especially here on the West Coast. Yeah. And that's probably everywhere now. Inflation, everything's happening so fast. I remember when I first started, like when I was freaking 17 and I started working, I was getting paid like 13, and like that was good then. And to me at 17, but like even now, like people who work with like 14, 15, they're not living off that wage. So for you to judge us, but I'm sorry, be making less than me, who are you to talk? Okay, now if you're making more money than me, I mean, you can talk, but at the same time, I'm making my money just a different way than you are. And it's not always right. Men love to talk about this. Men who sell things in the streets. And that's all you do. You're selling like straight things that can kill people. And majority of the time you're selling not what it is, and it's overpriced. Like pipe down, it's overpriced. Just like with cars. Men in the car game. Y'all oversell your cars. But you assume that us women are so much cheaper. And that falls in line to OF creators. Like, you judge us by our subscriptions prices. But that shit adds up, just like whenever you break down what your products, it adds up. The pricing don't matter because you can put worth on a product. You can't put worth on a human in a body. That's all up to the woman, that's all up to whatever, you do you. I've always been that type of woman. You do you because you don't know what people go through. You don't know what people have to do to keep their head above water. You don't know what day in and day out people have to go through. Like I had to move out at 19 years old and got kicked out. I had no choice. Like I had like a week, I think, to figure it out. 2 weeks to figure it out. And I had to work to get in where I got in. Like I had nowhere to go. I had nobody. I had nowhere to go. I got all of my stuff. I got an apartment in a toxic relationship, left that. I ended up having to do that on my own. I was now paying like over $1,000 like in bills by myself. I had nobody. So for people to judge me about what I do, saying, oh, you shouldn't be, you're worth so much better. You don't know how much worth I put on my body. You know, you don't know that how much I go through day in and day out, and like mentally, this eats us up mentally, just like any other job. Just like working a 9 to 5 that you hate. You're sitting there behind a desk job and you hate it just because it's a desk job. I'm sitting there having to talk to these old gross men who smell like BO and don't know how to take care of themselves, but want me to act like they're the richest man in here, and act like, you know, I just want to be rubbing on them, and I don't. And I still got to go through that. I got to walk in 8-inch heels all day. You know, there's construction workers work 12 hours a shift, or a warehouse, you know, and they go through things. We all go through things differently. You know, nobody wants to put in all of the work that they have to put in. Nobody said that this will be easy. I don't just go into my job and get handed money easy. People think it's that easy. No, this mentally is tiring. I work from like 8 until 4 a.m. Don't go to bed until 6. But I got to get up and take care of my animals. I got to get up and take stuff. Like, I still got to be an adult. So now I went to bed at 6, but I'm up at 10. You know, I'm running on no hours of sleep. But I got to do it again for another 3 days because it's the weekend. You know, like, I've got to go through that. And people just judge a woman off of what she does, like, to make money. That is not your place to say. I make my money how I want. And people can assume whatever. You can assume that I sell my body. You can assume that something's overpriced. You can assume that something is underpriced. But at the end of the day, who pays my bills? I do. Who goes through the things mentally that I do? I do. Like, nobody sits there and fights my demons. You know, nobody sits there at the end of the day and is like, hey, you know, it's not as easy as walking in. Someone's like, oh, here's a check for your rent, you know, and I'm done. No, there's like hours where I don't get paid, you know, or situations like my daddy coming in. And now I mentally have to go through my job, you know, knowing that my father just walked out of there disappointed as me. And he's seen me in that environment. Now I can talk to my dad about my job. He asks about my job. Another story, like I said, it runs in my family. Like, the club that I work at now, my mom worked at freaking 20 years ago. Or 20 years ago, because she moved from the West Coast to where I was born. And she worked there, right? And so when I came in there, that was what was crazy, because they thought that I was her. They were like, didn't you work here like 15, 20 years ago? I was like, I was one. And they're like, okay, so who's your mom? Told my mom's name, gave her a stage name, or figured out her stage name. Instantly, everyone knew my mom. But isn't that so crazy? Like, I ended, you know, I'm repeating a life, but I'm doing it differently. You know, like, everything that I do is different from. I had to think about it, you know, I had to figure out everything on my own. So like, when I got into this, I had no mentor. There was no other girl I walked into that club with, like, yeah, I mean, my homegirl, when you know, a lot of girls come in with their home. I had nobody in the audience for me, nobody sitting out on that floor, you know, and I put the work in. I made that money, you know, just like I make that money now, and I do it by myself. I don't even know what the hell I'm doing half the time, you know. I'm still figuring out a year in. I hear girls say stuff, and they put me on game, and I'm like, whoa, you know, like, I didn't know that, you know, and that's why I put women on game. My friends who want to get into this stuff, I'm like, hey, like, yeah, I'll help you out. You can come to my house and we can practice, we can talk, we can do all of this, you know, and we put like so much work in, and so much shit is talked about us. And the fact that it comes from men, put the work in that we do as women and go through the judgments that we do. I understand men go through, but at the same time, women get judged for no reason. You know, women with a pretty, like, just assume automatically, ho, done. That's a done deal. You know, everybody been hit that data. All right, you don't even know me as a person, but that's not for me to explain. You know, and that's often why I'm so judged. I know why people don't talk to me, because no one wants to associate with the OF creator and the entertainer. No one wants to be her friend. No one wants to associate with a person like that because it has such a bad rep. But little do you know that I'm smart with my money. I put the work in and I've done it clean. You know, and I sit there and I'm fine with that. You know, people walk right past me who be in my DMs, you know, trying to be cool with me, trying to talk to me, trying to kick it, but not out in public, right? You don't want to talk to me at a car meeting. You don't want to talk to me at a show. Okay. Because of my occupation, you know, and that's okay. It's totally fine, because at the end of the day, my bills are paid. I'm fine with me as a person. I'm figuring out ways, and I do stuff behind the scenes. That's what I'm saying, is y'all don't know, like, half these women do it to pay off their college tuition, to help their businesses, you know, to take care of their kids. You know, they do all of this stuff for a reason, because it's such an easier way to make money. And just so y'all know, women make less than men in the wage world. It still happens today. It's still a freaking thing, and you can look at it. A lot of women in their jobs will look at how much men are getting paid compared to what they are, and they do basically the same thing. If not, women do more and still get paid less. So fuck anyone who says that, because it's not It's not fair for you to judge a woman like that and go through like what a woman wants to be a freaking receptionist. And if anything, we have to hustle even harder in just like in the cars, like in cars, I can't talk to any of you, like any men in the car scene, because you take it too far. You know, pretty female who knows cars, oh my God. But I don't just do it for a pretty female who knows cars. We can have a conversation about a car. We could break down a motor. Like, let's talk about it, you know? We could talk about the build, the modifications, whatever, you know? Let's talk about it. And it's so crazy to me because you know, as a woman, I gotta work harder to prove myself in everything that I do. Even as a freaking doctor, even as like anything that isn't a stereotypical woman's job, receptionist, teacher, nurse, you know, like anything that would take a woman to put the work in. Like, there's women who work construction, you know, they get like sexually harassed all the time. Nobody wants to talk about it, you know. Women in the military. Are we gonna talk about that? They get mistreated, you know. We try to do things like men do, and we get mistreated. Just like a woman, if she sold products in the street, she's probably gonna be the first one to get robbed. We can't do the same thing that men do, so we do what we gotta do. And we put our work in. And for anyone to sit there and judge someone off of what they have to do, just like anyone who gets it, if you get it straight out of the mud every single day, straight out of the trenches, and if you're still in the streets but you're working to get out, that's an accomplishment itself. I don't care what you gotta do, that is your business. As long as you're not harming people, you're protecting yourself, you know, you're mental, you're taking care of you, you're keeping your head above water. You do what you gotta do. There ain't no book to this life. There's no open it up. These are the occupations that you should have to successfully live in. No, that shit don't happen. We wake up and we figure out, you think I wanted to be here? No, I did not want to be here. I would love to just have a successful business right now, but how am I gonna pay for that? Oh, go work a 9-to-5 job and work that for so long? And no, I'm gonna put the work in somewhere else where I know that my brain can work too, my personality works so much. It's hard to do what we got to do. And I see so many people talk a lot of smack, but it doesn't happen in person, you know, and that's not the pressing issue, but it won't happen in person because you just love to talk and you love to judge a person for what they have to do. And no matter what, if I sit here and tell you my story of what I went through, another person is still going to sit here and judge me for what I got to do, because you could have did this. You could have worked that 9-to-5. You could have done da-da-da. Yeah, I could have, whenever I had 2 weeks to pay $1,000 in bills and still had a credit card to pay off. Yeah, I could have. I could have moved back in with my parents and went back into a toxic household and went back to feeling so neglected and stuck in my head, and that I had no silence. I could have. You know, I could have ended up on the street with my dog and my 2 cats. I didn't have my other baby at the time. And I would have had to figure it out. But I sat there and made a decision for myself, and I don't go against my morals. I don't go against my beliefs. I love myself at the end of the day, and I make sure that I'm safe and I'm protected. So I don't understand how what I do affects you. It doesn't, you know? I don't judge anyone for what they got to do. I never judge a person for having a 9-to-5. Go you. I just hope that they respect you and figure out what, you know, like, put you in a good place. Know your worth. It's just like in this, you know your worth in a job. If you're working a job that pays you, you know, $15 an hour, but you feel like you should be getting 17, you better damn well walk up to that manager and be like, what do I got to do to get a raise? Oh, well, we're not going to give you a raise. Okay, go look for another job because you're worth more. That's what matters, is you're worth more, and you have to realize that. And just like women in this industry, we realize, like, we know our worth and where a woman puts herself. If a woman wants to do, like, I am an independent contractor, therefore I can pick my own prices. So the prices of my dances may be different from another woman. If a woman wants to do a dance for $20 versus a woman wants to do a dance for $50, it don't matter. That's your worth. Baby, if you feel that that's how much you're worth, you know, and someone may come up to them and change their mind. Someone had to do that to me. My self-worth wasn't always like this. This occupation, that's why it's like, why is it so judged? This occupation made me realize who I am, made me realize how much I love myself, my self-worth, and helped me to, like, see what other people see about me, you know? I did not know I was so intimidating. I didn't know. And people are like, wow, you didn't know you were so intimidating? No, I did not know that I was so intimidating, because I try and be such a nice, goofy, funny person. But at the same time, I understand how that comes off because of my attractiveness as a beautiful woman. And just like any other woman. Y'all don't think I don't go up to women and I'm like, oh my God, you're so pretty. I don't want to talk to you. I'm kind of scared. I do be scared. Like, I be scared to talk to beautiful women all the time. But at the same time, some of the most beautiful women have the most beautiful personalities. And I never changed who I was in my occupation, and I don't do anything that I'm not comfortable with. If you're not comfortable with what I do, you don't gotta see what I do. You don't have to look at me on social media, follow me on social media. You don't have to talk to me and act like you're my friend. You know, I've had meets, like I had a birthday meet, I had people come there and talk shit about me, you know, but you showed up. You know, we have men who come into clubs and talk shit about us, you know? Not to me though, because they would be dumb, you know, and I also be like 6 foot on my heels. So if you want to try me, try me. We can wrestle, we can tussle. Now I'm your height. It's okay though. There's security guards. They'll handle it. But yeah, you know what happens? They come in and they talk shit. They call us bitches that to our face, hoes, whores, sluts. You know, they want to disrespect us. You know, they be wanting to pay us to literally like do stuff to us that's not like, it's not that it's not okay, but it's like, well, you're weird. You know, they want to pay us to call us a certain name. And it may be because that's their kink, or it just maybe they want to disrespect a stripper. That's up to them, but it happens. You know, women come in with their boyfriends and for some weird ass reason sit there and get mad when we walk up and talk to them. And you know what? As soon as I sit down in those situations, I instantly be like, I'm like, you know, I like everything. I'm more here for you. You know, I try and lean more on the woman, and sometimes they still be mad, and sometimes he get mad. Like, get out the club. Get out the club. You thought you were secure. You're not secure. Redo your relationship. Go out. Try again. Go talk to Dr. Phil. I don't know. But this coming in here hating on women is terrible. It's not good. You know? And even like women, even women who work in this industry still judge other women in this industry because of what they do. You know, that's what I say. Like, I'll never judge a woman. Just don't do it in the club. You're messing up everybody else's money. You know? If I don't do the dirty work and you do the dirty work, I'm going to say it's dirty work because it's dirty. Come on now. It's still dirty. It's the dirty work. And I do the clean work. Keep your dirty work outside the club. Like, let's keep the club clean. I like it clean in here. You know, I like to keep myself clean. Put some Clorox bleach down, you know, a little wipey. Yeah, figure it out. Because I don't do that, baby. So, like, that's the only thing that really happens. But for another woman to be like, blah, 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 you know, does this. Like, oh my God, people judge me because women judge me in the industry because I have an OnlyFans. OF, whatever. How are you going to judge me when a man just paid $30 to walk through the door? And that's all they paid, and they've seen everything of you. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. But we won't, because that situation doesn't come up, because people are going to judge you no matter what. I remember whenever, like, I didn't have my worth and my prices were lowered. Now the price went up, and I'll admit that, because what my worth is, I know my worth. I figured it out. You know, I was still judged. And then even now, still judged, because now my prices are too high. Oh my Lord. It's so scary. Prices are too high, you know, and no matter what I do, I'm going to get judged. No matter what I do, it's going to be a problem what I do, you know? And so many people come up with so many things about the assumption of what I do. And I'm never going to fix that. You know, if you believe I do something, oh, Key does blah, blah, blah. Okay. Yes, I do. That's your assumption. I'm not going to defend my name to the point that I'm not going to defend my name, period, because I know me. You don't have to know me. You don't ever have to talk to me. What I do is a problem to you, we don't have to associate at all. And it's so crazy to me because so many men will talk shit about women, like what we do in this occupation. And y'all be in our DMs. Y'all be following us. Y'all be subscribing. You know, you be watching. Why? Because you are so insecure about yourself. You can never have a woman like this. Ever. And that's why men have to pay to get in, because women like this would never talk to them on the streets. Ever. And it's facts. Because what attention do I owe you? If you're not adding to my mental, if you're not adding to my bag, if you know you're not adding something sustainable to my life, what do I owe a conversation to you for? It don't work that way. And all the time too, men will come in there and think that they don't have to pay, you know, or like they don't like have a conversation with me. You got a tip? You better hand it over. We are so disrespected in this industry, outside and inside, no matter what, you know. There's managers who think that they can just do things to us, you know, just because they're managers. We're sexually harassed on the daily, but you work at a club. Half the disputes it don't matter. It don't matter, because they can go under the table because you work where you work, you know, like it don't work like that. We're not treated the same. And all the time, like, even just like in relationships, you know, people figure like in a relationship with someone, you know, and whether you want to or you are, men will get into a relationship with women and try and make her quit her job because they're insecure about themselves. How is that fair? You know, or a woman will be in a relationship like, hey, I want to do that. Oh no, you can't do that. How is that your choice? It's her body. She can do what she wants to do. And it's so crazy to me because it'd be the dirtiest men. Like, y'all don't do anything but be bums and just sitting on your couch or just be terrible. Like, and women got to do this stuff because they don't have someone who's supporting them like that. You're not doing nothing for her. She needs to figure it out. She needs to get her life together. And 2, women are judged for their body types, and that's crazy to me because there's so many beautiful women and so many different body types, and so many women tell me like I can't because of my body. I'm like, oh, I don't know, I think you have a nice body, you know. All men like everything, just like all men like body hair, you know. If you're scared of a little bush, you are a young man, because guess what, baby, you got to get to the through the jungle to get to the treasure. That's how it works. Just remember that. And even then, men are just like so judgmental of women because I feel like y'all are scared of what we're capable of. And women are gonna take over the world. I promise you, we're gonna get better. We're already smarter, but we're just so dimmed down by toxic masculinity, and it's sad. You know, it's like men created this industry, I feel like, to put women down, and women are put into it because we're born with a gift, a beautiful body. You know, and I wish that people would see that as art, because that's what I see it as. Even if a woman sells her body, it's art because she's beautiful. You know, we often make anything that involves sex or anything that involves nudity, anything that involves naturalness, nature. I don't know if naturalness is a word, but anything that involves natural, we hate on it because this world is so full of fake. That's why BBLs are so popular now. Like, even a woman like me, it's gonna be hard for me soon to get into clubs unless I gain weight or get my boobs and my butt done, because that's just what everyone likes now, you know. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna change me for anybody, you know. People are gonna like that no matter what. And anyways, I'm finna gain weight. It's okay, y'all. I'm gonna get a little heftier. We were there at one point. But I just want people to understand a little bit about what we do, you know, and I hope that y'all understand where I come from and understand that I put in the work, and I don't need to explain it to anybody. But I put in this work, and I was put in the position that I was put into because I had no choice. And it messes with my mental every day, and it is hard, you know. So if y'all have any questions at all, feel free to please DM me on Instagram at YoGirlKey. That's probably like the best way to reach me. But be interactive, you know. I'm gonna start doing a lot more questions, and I'm really happy to announce that I will be having like some co-hosts. I'm gonna start working on having, like, you know, better communication with you guys, and so I want you guys to interact. So go ahead and share this video, leave a like and a comment, and I'm gonna see y'all on the next episode of Cut the Bullshit.
Oh yeah, whoa, look, they can never keep me down, I'm going, and if I ever fail to snow, I'll go again. I never quit, cause I know
Cold.
every loss been lead to
Wolverine.
another going up. I bet when I land, they gon' tell me it's lucky, get see that I put it as hard as a box.
No, I feel like
You ain't got no soul, you lacking the spirit.
I feel like I might need to get jacked out. My body is changing. It's getting warmer, and the sun is coming out. So my hair is getting frizzier because of the sun and the UVs. And then my freaking skin is starting to get more blemishes and everything because it's bringing out. Like, I have so many freckles popping up around my mouth now. Like, I want to get like a shit talking. We talking about all the shit that y'all talk about, sex workers. Woo, woo, woo. Can you actually see my nipple, or is that just the fact that they're hard? Hey guys, it's Yo Girl Key. Welcome back to another episode. Yeah, this is how it's gonna go. Same videos, I'm gonna be like, I don't got no bra on. And you guys are gonna have to deal with it. Let's get the video started. Oh man, Key's hella funny for this. This really be me with my cat, da-da-da. And like, it's like, dogs be so annoying. Okay, make sure I have the recording because I don't always make sure I have it. I'm like having to look that way, but like turn my eyes the other way. Perfect. That is perfect. I feel like Can you see it from there too, or does it go straight into this? Okay. Which one? I was like, damn, I should put a mirror out here so I could see myself and be like, oh, my hair, you know, like, shit, I gotta fix that one. Like, or like my hair isn't even like this.